It just got more expensive to be unvaccinated in Austria. The country's parliament passed a measure to make COVID-19 vaccinations mandatory for all adults.
If we want to break the circle of lockdowns, we need this law and an end to the restrictions to protect us from the coronavirus. And I think that's what we all want.
After being passed by the upper house of parliament and signed by the president, Alexander Van der Bellen, the measure is set to come into force in February, with fines of up to roughly $4,000 rolling out in mid-March for anyone who can't provide proof of vaccination. It'll be the strictest COVID-19 law in Europe, affecting all Austrians 18 and older, though pregnant women, people with valid medical conditions, and those who have recovered from coronavirus in the past 6 months will be exempt. It's a get-tough tactic that comes after weeks of volatile protests in Austria by a vocal minority over coronavirus restrictions. And many countries facing similar resistance say they've heard enough. In Greece, people over 60 who choose not to get vaccinated now face fines of more than $100 a month. Health officials say the financial leverage seems to be working. More than 90% of people in that age group have now received the shot, many in the weeks after the mandate was announced in late November. A similar fine is set to begin next month in Italy, where people over 50 and unvaccinated by choice will also face fines of more than $100. And by mid-February, workers over 50 must have a health pass showing that they're vaccinated or have recovered from COVID-19. Otherwise, they face a fine of up to $1,700. The Italian Prime Minister justified the step, saying it's mainly the unvaccinated who are straining the country's healthcare system.
We
must never lose sight of the fact that most of the problems we have today come from the unvaccinated. Non-vaccinated people are much more likely to develop the disease and severe forms of the disease.
Quebec's premier also calling out the unvaccinated, saying they are putting a financial burden on others and should be taxed for that.
Those who refuse to receive their first dose in the coming weeks will have to pay a new health contribution.
Though details have yet to be finalised, the Premier says the tax could exceed $100 Canadian, but will not apply to those who can't take the shot for medical reasons. Quebec has been one of the worst hit of Canada's provinces. The Premier says even though only about 10% of Quebec's population is unvaccinated, those people make up 50% of patients in intensive care. Critics say such a penalty could face legal challenges.
The worry is that it does, set a precedent that this is the kind of thing that's permissible. And so, the same logic that applies to this measure would apply to, taxing people because of certain other choices that they make.
After almost a year of pleading with people to get vaccinated, many European governments are losing patience with the holdouts. French President Emmanuel Macron says he wants to piss off the unvaccinated, but a growing number of places say it might be more effective to make them pay up instead. Nada Bashir, CNN, London.